All right, here's the overview for week one. What we're going to get done in the first week of the term. As you can imagine, 7 weeks, we got a lot to do every single week. Um, so we got some assigned reading. Um, they're pretty basic. That's why I've given us 2 reading assignments. In other words, you know, obviously these principles don't take a long time to read through. So, and they are quite applicable to what you're doing as an interface designer for an automobile. So there's that one. It should be taking no time. And then one might take you a little bit longer, but it's still just as valid, is a Google statement related to automotive interface design. So, um, they can um, talk to you about overall, and then design system, and then components, product exercise. I don't know if we need branding. Is you know, that's kind of an obvious thing. You don't really have to. Which car company is not going to add their brand to it? Okay, but let's go back to week one. So, out of both those articles, I'd like you to pick 3 topics, outline them as titles, and then explain them in 3 sentences each time. They could 2 could be from the first article, 1 could be from the second, or 1 could be from the first, 2 could be from the second. However you want to mix it up, as long as you represent both. Okay, then we're going to be working on the booklet. So I do have a template that you could download. Let's see if that functions. Oh, okay, I'll have to fix that. I'll get that link there. But you could download it in Design and get you started if you want to. You can make the book any size you want. You can make it vertical, horizontal, whatever you'd like. And you can do it in Microsoft Word if you want. Eventually, if you're going to move into this field, your presentation booklet's going to have to look pretty sharp, as it's going to be part of your portfolio. For this class, we could do it kind of rough, as long as we get the content there. We really figure out what we want to say. We really write it up. If it's a little on the rough side when you turn it in, okay. But eventually, when you go for that job interview, you're going to want this to look good. Okay, for the booklet, several things. Market outline, who's our target market, who are we trying to design this for. Obviously, drivers of this vehicle, but, they could be broken down to different types of drivers. Then here's your features. You need at least navigation, radio, climate controls, phone, and settings, just kind of like, preferences and stuff. You could also do controls separately, and that is, some automotive interfaces that I've looked at break it down into 2 parts, and control specifically turn off the screen, turn off the power controls. I think you could just combine those with settings, but it's up to you. Some also have a weather forecast, and some allow for third-party apps such as Spotify. Okay, a flow chart. A flow chart is this kind of breakdown where you turn on the home screen, you see the home screen, and you interact with it, and it leads you to all the other different features and screens. As a resource for you, you could download this flow chart from a Dodge Journey. All it is all the sample screens. I took a photo of every single one, and so it's a photo of every screen, structured kind of like a flow chart. This one would lead you here, there, etc. Flow charts are normally simpler. This is a little more complex because it shows you the whole screen. I'd also like a flow chart statement, which is just a title and 3 sentences explaining it. And then 3 interviews. So interview 3 people that could potentially drive this car, whatever whatever car it's going to be. It's going to be you can choose. You know, it can be an electric vehicle. You know, I would make it something advanced. Um, but I want you to approach them and say, hey, you know, if you were going to uh, buy this car, let's say you had the money to do it and you're interested, what would you want in the console, the user interface for this car? What would be important to you? So, you know, and ask the same three questions to, or the same questions to the three people. All right. Then lastly, something that won't go in your book yet, but you need to get started on, is the low fidelity prototype. I've set it up as a concept sheet. You can download it here. Yeah, that one really works. It looks like this. In other words, I'm asking you to figure out, how do you want this layout? So you know you're dealing with a rectangle. You're going to put all the links at the bottom. You could also put all the links on the left. As this is in the center of the dash and someone's driving the car, either one of these ways would be a comfortable way to interact with the screen. If you put all the links over here, I think they'd be a little out of reach. You put them all at the top, and somewhat debatable. I would say our important zone, the most key part of, is like an arching circle area right here, where this is easily within reach. This can still be reached, but it's harder. So keep that in mind. You need, in the end, 12 screens sketched out for your week 2 booklet. And I'll be scanning them for you if you want, or you can scan them, and then they'll go into your booklet for week 2. You just try to make them in week 1. I got a last page here. Some things that could be beneficial to you, so I put them in there as optional. You know, you can answer these questions to get you thinking about the interface and why people would want to interact with it. And then you could also take the time just to work on the icons. And the icons is something that's really important to me. I like to see a lot of unity between those, and I'll explain that later. Okay, so that is the concept sheet. So that's a good overview of all the stuff. So 3 things to turn in: a summary, your booklet, and your sketches. 12 of them. Okay, so a lot, but it's not going to kill you. You got 3 days to work on this, right? You got a week. Okay, let me show you what a student has done. So this is what one student's book eventually turned out looking like. It didn't start out this way. This is their cover, and in order of the very things that I've asked for, here's how they explain their target market. Here's how they broke down the features. Here's how these were the main features. These are the secondary features. Then they made a flowchart statement and showed their flowchart. And then their interviews. So, I think that's all within reach of 1 week. We can get this done. And then to show you what it would be like for next week, week 2, just a hint, you're going to take those sketches that you do this week and put them together in as your low fidelity prototype. You make a statement about it and you show all your screens that way. Okay, so that gives you a good overview of what week 1 is going to be like. If you have some questions, let me know, and I'll fix that link for you. Thank you.